What's up, everybody? We got legendary King T in the house. What's up, King T?
Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Liquid's in the house.
All right, man. Well, man, I super appreciate you coming out here and spending some time with us today. I know, like you're a busy guy, and
oh man,
and no, we really appreciate it, man.
No doubt.
Really do.
Let's do it.
So, man, I want to get into just, start from the beginning. We got the legendary King T, and I kind of want to go through the evolution of King T. So,
okay.
How'd you get into, hip hop? How did Compton come into play? And then when did you meet DJ Pooh? All that stuff.
It's crazy because I've always been a music head. Like, I loved music. My mother bought me records. My aunties bought me records. I remember them buying me Ohio Player records and crazy stuff like that. And I was just into music. I didn't know how to play an instrument, but she even tried to get me piano playing lessons and all that, but I never stuck to it. She said I played by ear and all that type of stuff, but I just always been into music. They knew I was gonna be into music, so I didn't want to go to school, all that, it's the same old story, you know what I'm saying? The school was boring, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to do music. I ended up my mother moved to Houston when I was young, and I went out there with her, got into a lot of trouble because I didn't want to go to school. Ended up running, we lived in Third Ward, Texas.
Okay.
Third Ward, Houston, Texas.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I used to skip school a lot and go up to the college, KTSU. It was Texas Southern University. And they would, at Saturday nights, it was always a mix going on. And I was too young to go out at night, but on Saturday morning, they had this little show called Kids Jam. So I used to sneak up there on Saturday morning, my little neighbors and the kids around the neighborhood showing me how to get up to we always, we ended up there. I don't know how, we just ended up there at the station. And I ran into the program director. Her name was Pamela Collins. I remember her name. She was, you know what I'm saying? I was telling her, I think I was 13, 14 years old. I said, yo, I'm from LA. And I had cassettes of K-Day, Mix Masters, Joe Cooley and Bobcat and all the mixing. And I used to tell her it was me. And she said, boy, that ain't you. But I said, I'll show you on the turntable. And when she let me get down, I showed her.
Yeah.
I sounded just like them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she ended up giving me a shot on the Kids Jam show that was like on Saturday morning with Lester Surpace and Jazzy Red from Houston, Texas. And it took off from there. But I was young, and my mom wasn't trying to hear that. She was like, you go to school or you know what I'm saying? I was doing some other messed up shit. I was, and ended up in a what was it? Harris County Youth Village out there for like a year. You know what I'm saying? And my mom moved back to LA while I was still in there. It was crazy. They used to take me to get my dentist appointments and all that type of shit. I used to run, but they'll hear me on the radio.
Yeah.
The kids in the youth village will hear me on the radio that Saturday, and they'll come get me. It was crazy.
Oh,
and
wow.
people wouldn't believe it. People ain't gonna believe that. So the last time I ran away. They called my grandma out here that was living on 48th and Crenshaw and said, we got to send your grandson home. Ain't nobody out here coming to see him. And she sent for me. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up coming back, staying with her. But ended up back in the valley with my grandparents. my grandparents was always from Pacoima. You know, that's where I used to go out there every Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all that type of. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I was. That's where I was from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a kid, I ended up. My mom didn't want me. My dad didn't want me to stay there. I was messing up. I didn't want to go to school. I got kicked out of every school in the LA district. For real, like kicked out of Carver, kicked out of John Muir, and I had to go to Monroe and Inglewood, which I graduated to Morningside in Inglewood. Oh, they ran me up out of there.
That's a quite like colorful school there.
Right. So I ended up back in the valley at my grandmother's and going to San Fernando High.
Yeah.
I couldn't. They was running me out of there too.
I'm gonna ask you this: Was Big Y one of the guys running you out of Morningside?
He might have been running them niggas, you know what I'm saying?
I'm kidding.
But no, since I couldn't go to school, I ended up just ditching school and hanging around my grandmother's house. So I ended up walking around the block and on Van Nuys and Glen Oaks.
Yeah. And
go through this little. It was an Arco gas station on the corner of Van Nuys and Glen Oaks. And it was a sweatsuit shop that did custom sweatsuits. And I looked in, I saw the turntables in the back and the custom sweatsuits. So I sat there and I had I had my records too. I had a crate of little small crate of records too. Yeah. And I sat there until the owner got there. And when the owner got there, it was Scotty D. His name is Robert Scott Spencer. He's from Compton. Yeah. He owned the shop on Van Nuys and Glen Oaks. It was called J&D's Sportswear. And they did custom sweatsuits. They make Fila sweatsuits where they could put Fila on your khakis. They could put Fila down there. Or you had some 501s, they could put Fila down the leg, down the arm and leg, all that. And that was what was going on back then. Yeah. So when he got there, I told him, it's funny. I told him that I was a young DJ, you know, and I knew Bob. I'm down with Uncle Jam's Army. I'm down because I had just met Bobcat. Yeah. Like the weekend before at a skating ring, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that. Yeah. So I told him I was down with Bobcat and Uncle Jam's Army, not knowing that he's already down with Roger Clayton and Uncle Jam's Army, and he knows Bobcat and Wildcat and Egyptian Lover and everybody, you know what I'm saying. But he laughed. You know, I'm a young kid, like 15, 16 years old, but I get on the turntables and mesmerizing. You know what I'm saying? So he's all right, you can hang out, you know, lightweight, run away. I'm sleeping in the shop, waking up, putting on new T-shirts, all kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? So it was cool for a minute. You know, DJ Pooh was there too. Yeah. So Bobcat, it was a lot of DJs around. And what it was too many that I had to compete with, but I also used to jump on the mic and MC. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I used to, I was fascinated by movies like Wild Style and Breakin' and Beat Street and things like that. Yeah. So I used to spit they rhymes, especially like, what's his name? Prince, I can't think of his name right now, but I used to say a couple of their rhymes, and they used to like the way I rhyme. So DJ Pooh named me King T. Okay. And that's how it all began, right there. Scotty D introduced us to DJ Unknown, the same producer that had Ice-T on Techno Hop, that was doing Dog in the Wax, 6 in the Morning, all that. I came right after Ice. Compton's Most Wanted came right after me. Okay. You know what I'm saying? With DJ Slip. Yeah. And I can't remember the rest of their names, but Compton's most fun. Yeah.